Everyone has a birthday they'll always remember.
Can we open my presents now, Mommy?
This is Andy's.
Good night, Chucky.
This is no accident. Someone's moved in with the Barclay family, and so has terror. No one believes the truth, or lives to tell it. There's nothing nice about murder. There's nothing innocent about child's play.
I adore the original Child's Play. Sure, you can argue that some of the sequels were kind of shitty, but the original is a golden masterpiece of its era. Everyone always talked about how scary Freddy and Jason were, but my fear was clowns after Pennywise messed me up for a couple of years. But another fear I possessed was killer dolls because of this movie right here, Child's Play. Technically, this is the box set, but it's in here. My mother, when I was a kid, for example, had some of those really fancy-looking porcelain dolls that look almost like real people, and I used to hate sleeping in any room that had them in there. If I ever had to, I would do my best to try to cover their eyes so they wouldn't steal my soul while I was sleeping or try to take my body. It was horrifying. And the whole idea about a killer doll, sure, as an adult, it's kind of stupid, right? But back then, it was a pretty original idea in the world of slasher flicks. You had Freddy, that was some kind of dream demon. Michael was a crazy person with ungodly strength and resilience. Jason was a deformed zombie man. 1988 gave us a doll come to life. Although the overall idea was original, it did have a lot of inspiration. The film's executive producer, David Kirshner, wanted to make a movie about a killer doll after he read the book The Dollhouse Murders, which is a story about a dollhouse that reenacted murders. And the Twilight Zone episode The Living Doll, which, by the way, that's one of my favorite shows of all time. I love The Twilight Zone. In the Living Doll episode, a little girl has an evil doll that's alive, and her stepfather's going crazy trying to get rid of it. Add in a sprinkle of the Cabbage Patch Kids, and the My Buddy doll, and Chucky was born. The original script for Child's Play was really weird, though. It was going to be called Blood Buddy, and Chucky was going to be one of those dolls that have, like, realistic blood inside, so if you're playing too rough with it, it would bleed a little bit. And then Andy mixes his own blood accidentally with the doll's, and he comes to life and goes after all his enemies. It's weird. I'm so glad they didn't do that idea. And they were also going to make it a bit ambiguous, leaving the question open, was the doll actually committing the crimes, or was the kid the killer the whole time? I don't like that whole idea either, but they did play with it in the final product. And how did Chucky come to life in this movie? Chucky's actually the nickname of the serial killer known as the Lakeshore Strangler, Charles Lee Ray, who was a combination of the three real-life killers, Charles Manson, although technically Charles Manson didn't actually kill anyone himself, Lee Harvey Oswald, and James Earl Ray. The police finally track down Charles Lee Ray, and he's on the run. He hides out in a toy store and gets shot by Officer Norris, and he's bleeding out. Turns out Charles Lee Ray has learned some crazy voodoo magic and transfers his soul into the doll.
You hear that, you son of a bitch? I'm gonna get you for it! I'm gonna get you! Give me the power, I beg of you! S'accusati e me pode morire. Mortis mele de vacorde me roche. E me pode watching gambler!
And that's just the opening scene of the movie. It's wild. The main character in the movie is Andy, a little boy celebrating his 6th birthday, and he does such a good job playing a cute, innocent child, which makes the entire situation even scarier. When the target in the movie is a kid, the stakes are always so much higher. Andy's obsessed with the good guy dolls, the brand of doll that Chucky belongs to, and I argue that this live-action version of the doll on the TV is way scarier than anything in the movie. My god, that's horrifying.
Hi, I'm Oscar, and I'm your friend to the end. Heidi-ho! Ha 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 ha! Wow!
Andy's all excited about his birthday and he makes breakfast for his mom. How sweet, right? Except that he makes a huge mess. He pours cereal all over the counter, a gallon of milk, enough sugar to give instant diabetes. He burns the toast and slaps a heart attack's worth of butter on there, then spills orange juice and milk all over the place as he's walking. And he wakes his mom up at 6:30 in the morning with this. She's all happy and starts snuggling with him.
Come here. Come here. That's one. How many years old are you today?
Okay, I'm a parent. I get it. I love my kids, but sometimes I gotta get real. If you wake me up at 6:30 in the morning and you present me this disaster and this mess of ingredients all over the floor, it is not gonna be a good morning for you. Then again, it's his birthday. Maybe I'd cut him some slack too. But later he did get a killer doll as a gift, so payback, I guess.
Hi, I'm Andy.
The scariest scene in this entire movie is when Andy actually opens his gift.
Go ahead.
Well, what do you think? You need these clothes so badly. Hey, I think they're going to be okay. We'll just have to take them up just a couple of inches.
Clothes. No kid wants to open a present and receive clothing. Shit, as an adult, I don't want to open a present and receive clothing most of the time. I still remember that feeling vividly. I remember one Christmas morning. It was the Christmas I got my Sega Genesis. The first gifts my parents let me open happened to be all clothes. They were saving the Sega for last. But as a child, you can imagine, as I kept opening clothes and clothes, my thoughts started to turn dark. I was fearing the worst. Since Andy's so disappointed, understandably, his mom makes it her mission to find a good guy's doll. And her best friend and co-worker, Maggie, helps her find one from a homeless guy that's selling one. Here's a bit of advice. Always buy retail, if the only other option you have is to buy it from a homeless man. That's how you end up with a killer doll.
Andy wants this doll.
But we don't even know if the damn thing works.
There you go, lady. May it bring you and your kid a lot of joy.
How do we know the damn thing isn't stolen, huh?
Steal this!
Steal this yourself.
Andy's mom successfully finds the good guy's doll for Andy and gets in trouble at work for taking too long on her break. Oh my god, and freaking Walter makes me want to vomit.
We have specified break times for activities like that, Miss Peterson. Mrs. Howe has taken sick and we're shorthanded tonight. You'll have to fill in for her.
I hate Walter. I worked retail for way too many years of my life, and I can tell you right now, this depiction of Walter is not far from the truth. Every retail store has at least one Walter in a management position. One of those by-the-book managers that follow every single rule to a T, that when you go on break and you come back 1 minute late, they're already sniffing around like a hunting dog for you. They monitor everything you do. They randomly quiz you on stupid shit like acronyms that the company makes.
An emergency.
Wait a second, I'll take over for her.
Miss Peterson, you work in shoes, not in jewelry. You'll just simply have to do it. Now, you can take off at 5, but you'll have to be back at 7.
It's my son's birthday.
Mrs. Barclay, are you happy with your job here?
If there's any Walters out there watching this review right now, you know exactly who the hell you are. Walter is insufferable. Andy's mom gives him Chucky, and the kid couldn't be happier. But soon, this excellent gift will result in days of terror. One aspect of Child's Play that makes it such a masterpiece is the build-up. The gradual build-up. There's so much tension in the movie, where you can think that Andy was crazy had you not seen the beginning of the movie. He talks to Chucky, and they have conversations back and forth, although you can never hear Chucky speak back. So everyone thinks it's just his imaginary doll friend. Sometimes Chucky will make it clear that he's aware of his surroundings and he's intelligent. It's so well done, just enough for you as the viewer to know that this doll is alive, but saving the full reveal for later in the movie. And Chucky at this point is just obsessed with revenge for his death. He wants to kill the cop that shot him, and he wants to watch the news to see what's going on with his crime partner, who he also wants to kill. You do not want to mess with the channels when Chucky wants to watch the news.
Aunt Maggie, Chucky wants to watch the 9 o'clock news.
Sure he does.
Being transferred onto a prison bus on his way to court.
You have to learn that when I say something, I mean it.
What did I do?
You know what I'm talking about? Turning the TV on and putting Chucky in front of it when I told you it was time to go to bed?
I didn't do that.
Oh, no? What did Chucky do? Walk into the living room and turn it on all by himself?
I love this subtle moment here before Maggie dies. She turns around and she freezes for a second, just absorbing the fact that a doll is standing in front of her with a hammer. The police come and Officer Norris starts getting suspicions that Andy might have killed Maggie because nobody else but the doll was home. And he finds Chucky's little footprints, so he gets even more suspicious of Andy. Chucky's footprints don't match his shoes, and they look a little too small to be from a 6-year-old child. And if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. Understandably, Andy's mom gets ultra protective and tries to get the truth out of her son, and I feel so bad for him. He's an innocent little boy telling the truth about his murderous doll, but nobody believes him. It gets to the point where his mom starts talking to Chucky, and she thinks she's losing her mind.
Bastard. Say something, damn it!
Hi, I like to be hugged.
Personally, I don't understand why she's wasting her time talking to the doll. If I had a doll in my house and I had an inkling that this thing was alive, Chucky uses Andy to do his bidding under the guise of being his best friend and convinces him to go to a specific location where his crime partner Eddie lives. Chucky's beyond furious that he left him behind. Eddie was his getaway driver from the beginning of the movie, and he takes brutal revenge by just blowing him up. Andy gets picked up by the police, and again he falls under suspicion, but sticks with the story about the killer doll. His mom is just sick of Chucky, and in a moment that's been spoofed in so many horror productions, she realizes he has no batteries.
Wanna play?
I'm not gonna lie, that's scary as fuck knowing that this doll's been talking since day one with no batteries and no power. Again, the movie is a master of tension and build-up. My undisputed favorite scene in the entire movie is when Chucky fully reveals himself. It's quite possibly one of my favorite scenes in any horror movie.
I said talk to me, damn it! All right. Then I'm gonna make you talk. I said talk to me, damn it, or else I'm gonna throw you in the fire!
You stupid bitch, you filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
The whole movie, you have no idea what to expect. You don't know what this doll's personality is going to be like. You don't know what he's going to sound like. And then when he unleashes his verbal rampage, he turns out to be one of the most foul-mouthed, angry horror movie monsters of all time.
You stupid bitch, you filthy slut!
So Andy's mom starts losing her mind and wants to find Chucky, so her kid stops getting blamed for the crimes he's committing, but nobody believes her either.
I threatened to throw him into the fireplace when all of a sudden he
He came alive in my hand. I dropped him and he got up and ran out of the apartment.
Good night, Mrs. Barton.
Andy's mom eventually convinces him to help her find out more info on the doll, and Officer Norris starts realizing something's weird because the doll came from the same store that he killed Charles Lee Ray from. The same store that got hit by a magical voodoo lightning bolt. But of course, the idea of a killer doll is always insane until you have one coming for you. Chucky is in full revenge mode.
Good night, asshole.
The way they made him move around and look believable as a killer doll in 1988 is so awesome. It's all practical effects and multiple methods were used to make the doll. They had several animatronic ones that were made. They used little people and child actors. They set up a rig on the animatronic face to mimic a person's actual movements. As I always say, much of this would just be CG today. A really cool subtle change you see throughout the movie is Chucky's appearance. It slowly changes throughout the movie to become more lifelike, but there's a good reason for it. See, Chucky got blown away with a gunshot by Officer Norris, and it hurt Chucky real bad.
You know, when I came here learning all that stuff about how to beat death, I thought maybe you were pulling my chain. I didn't think anybody could hurt me. But last night I got shot. It hurt like a son of a bitch, it even bled.
Turns out the voodoo spell that transferred Charles Lee Ray into the doll also made him slowly turn human again, with all the same vulnerabilities that a human would have, except that he'd be stuck in a doll body. That sucks. The only way to save himself was to transfer himself into the first person he revealed himself to, which was Andy.
You have to transfer your soul out of the doll into that of the first human being you revealed your true self to.
I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I'm gonna be 6 years old again. But I gotta go. I have a date with a 6-year-old boy. And you have a date with death. So long, John.
And from here on out, Child's Play becomes a truly horrific movie, as Chucky's primary focus becomes stealing Andy's body for himself. Nobody believes him still, he's locked away being monitored by a doctor that also thinks it's crazy, and Chucky just goes postal.
It's all right, Andy. It's all right.
Officer Norris's partner, Detective Pornstache, tells Norris the news and that Andy's missing, but Detective Pornstache thinks Andy did it and escaped, just like everyone else. But Andy actually ran back home and Chucky's in hot pursuit, leading to an epic battle.
Look, George, some child left their doll in the elevator.
Now leave it alone. Whoever left it there will come back looking for it.
Ugly doll.
Fuck you.
This poor kid is all alone trying his best to survive against this killer doll that's almost his size. He's running around the house trying to escape, and Chucky whacks him in the head to prepare the ritual. The scene where the ritual is beginning is really cool too. The sky starts darkening. It reminds me of Ghostbusters when all the ghosts escape from the vault and everything starts going crazy in New York City. Luckily, Norris and his mom show up and save him, but Chucky's pissed. He gets messed up pretty bad through this whole thing, and he just keeps coming. You can understand why this would be terrifying watching in the late 80s, early 90s as a kid.
Karen, you alright?
What's wrong? Gun jam?
And Andy masterfully deploys the greatest line in the entire movie.
Andy, no, please. We're friends to the end, remember?
This is the end, friend.
But does it truly end here? Does he burn to a crisp until there's nothing left? No. It's like Halloween 2 where he's completely engulfed on fire, and it just happened to be a very minor inconvenience. The only way to kill Chucky is to strike his heart that's becoming more human the longer he's in the doll body.
Hello, Andy.
Give me the boy and I'll let you live. Do you hear me? Give me the boy.
Mommy!
Give me the boy.
What the hell's going on here? Oh, hey.
And it seems like Chucky's dead and Detective Pornstash pops up, of course, when everything is said and done. And there's pieces of melted doll riddled with bullet holes all over the apartment. And in a beloved movie tradition, it delivers one final scare. Always a nice treat, even when it's expected completely.
Come on, look, it's as dead as they come, it's dead!
Don't let go! Kill them! Kill them! Kill them all!
The heart! Shoot him in the heart!
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
You believe me now? Yeah? But who's gonna believe me?
And that is the end of Chucky, until Child's Play 2. What else can I say about Child's Play? It's a true classic. It's entertaining, it's over the top, it's a stupid idea that shouldn't work, but it does. And if you have young children that own dolls and you enjoy scaring your kids, put this movie on for them. It'll do the trick. There's a really cool box set you could buy through my affiliate link in the description below that helps out the channel greatly, which includes all 7 movies, or if you're interested in just the first one, that's available as well. And remember, always make sure your talking dolls in the home are equipped with batteries, because if they're not, you may have a problem.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Since you made it to the end of this video, I assume you enjoyed it, so why don't you go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss any new content. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, links in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can join my Patreon or become a channel member. This is Fabian, I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.